I'm not actually back from anything, I'm still here. But for you guys, it's probably been at least a day or two. I don't know.
An undead shall be gentle.
Let's get going. Let's get going. Giant bird. I feel like this bird probably holds some greater significance. Like, I don't know. I'm confused as to why there's a giant crow that literally takes you back and forth from the asylum, and that's it. I get, like, you need to get to Lordran at some point, but I don't know. Seems pretty sketchy if you ask me. Like, I don't know, he doesn't make money off of it either. Like, what does he gain? What does he gain for, ending the Age of Lords? Which is, I guess, what he is inherently doing by bringing the undead, chosen undead into Lordran. Like, is he super against the Lords? Who knows? Maybe one day we'll understand the inner workings of the minds of Mr. Crow. Anyways, pick up some humanity. There's a sorcerer. Now I'm just gonna use one of these humanity. And I'm gonna try and be human the whole game here, guys. Or as much of it as I can. Which does mean we're gonna get invaded, probably a lot. And I'm probably gonna die a lot. And I'll also keep a death counter. That's gonna be fun. Anyways, leveling up. Here, okay. Back to Professor Blashwath for some Dark Souls pro tips. Which you probably already know. Resistance, completely useless. Attunement, intelligence, faith, completely useless unless you're a magic character. Basically, what that does is, if you're playing melee, all you really need to level are vitality, endurance, and then your main strength, or dexterity. So your main weapons stat. Dexterity is important even if you're a strength character, but what I find most important is pick a path and stick to it. Don't try and last minute flip-flop over to dexterity after being a strength character for a while, unless you've gotten into New Game Plus, you've accumulated the souls to do so. Anyways, vitality I think is also not super critical, at least in the very earlier parts of the game, although it's good to get some points into it while you can. So I'm just gonna level endurance, and I'm gonna get strength up a bit, because I want to main strength. And starting off Hunter with that high dexterity is going to give me the ability to wield a lot of weapons without putting extra points into dex. And since I have an extra point here, because of those 20 souls, I'm telling you, back from that Hollow episode 1, we're gonna level vitality also. And we'll be on point, ready to get going. Look at me, I'm so pretty. Sadly not in the beautiful 60 FPS provided by DS Fix, but I think I'll live. I also don't have the weird falling errors that come in pair with 60 FPS. Aww, he killed himself. You had so much to live for, Mr. Hollow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you chose that path. He really did. Except he'll just respawn, he's fine. Another day, another Hollow. Okay, I'm gonna be really quiet here and listen for the sounds of the attack. Right there, did you hear it? Okay, okay. Okay, that was early. It's right before he attacks. See, you can hear it. Oh, my bad. My B. That's the point, though. Listen for that sound when you're parrying. As I was saying last episode, sorry to continue that dead topic. You know, listen for the sound cues. Now, I'm gonna eliminate this fire guy, but there is an item across that bridge, which I think is a Ring of Sacrifice. Ooh, no. Oh, I fell off a cliff. It's okay. I love how in video games you can, like, fall off cliffs and get shot, and it's not like you break your legs or something. And I guess video games do require a suspension of disbelief, but it's not like I fell off a cliff and broke my legs. It's like, fell off a cliff, just drink some magical golden liquid bonfire. Sunny D. and you're fine. Anyways, let's just walk into this ledge so we don't fall off. And later on, once we get past Blighttown, what's his name? Dom Hall? He'll appear here, and he sells cool, boss armor and stuff. Well, we'll worry about that when we get to it. Now for the hardest part, getting back. Whew. Yeah, see, DS Fix makes those jumps, if you're on 60 FPS, impossible. You gotta change to 30 FPS because Dark Souls decided to calculate falling based on frames per second, not something else. Weird choice. I don't know why you did that, FromSoft, but whatever. Anyways, a perfect time to use that heavy trigger attack is in small corridors like this one, because you can easily hit the side of the corridor and stop your attack instead of hitting the enemy like that. And then you're suddenly poisoned by a rat early on in the game, and you're crying because you've died for the 50th time. Dark Souls, guys. It's no fun when you're... It's actually really fun when you're starting out. I feel like if I could give back any experience and, like, do anything again... And this is probably a really low standard for this, but I would do Dark Souls again if I could. If I could get my first time experience for Dark Souls, because it's just so incredible when you don't know anything about the game and you're figuring it out on your own. You're like, how do I attack? And learning the enemy's attack patterns is wonderful. So yeah, if you haven't played Dark Souls, I'm gonna sacrifice my views on this. It's not like I'm actually making money off of YouTube videos. I'm gonna sacrifice the views. If you haven't played Dark Souls before, stop watching right now. I'm serious. Go buy Dark Souls. It's only, I'm pretty sure you can get it for $9 easy. If you want it on Steam, it's a bit different. Probably $19. Just get Dark Souls and play through it, because, like, really, the worst thing you could do for Dark Souls is ruin your experience by watching someone else play it before you do. Now, of course, there are times, because FromSoft is so silly, where you actually will need to consult a walkthrough to get to some areas, because it's just absurd and you can't find it otherwise. But definitely, Dark Souls blind playthroughs are the best. Anyways, I have no idea where this guy came from, but let's get on with it. Enough of me telling you how to live your life. Now, pro tip: hidden souls behind barrels. Always check for stuff behind barrels. Of course, these souls are very minor, but since taking this extra path, we grab 2 souls plus a humanity, and the extra souls from killing these silly hollows who have iframes. It's really worth it early on in the game. Of course, typical FromSoft, hiding the path completely by blocking it with barrels, giving you no sign of the amazing treasures like that lying ahead. These hollows do not have iframes. They have dead frames. Or whatever, man. Something like that. Now, speaking of amazing treasure, rubbish. Remember that thing I said you could trade in for a Titanite chunk? I'm like 90% sure this is rubbish. Rubbish has no value. Who in their right mind would bother carrying this around? Perhaps you need help. Great words of advice. From FromSoft. I would take it. I don't know when Dark Souls came out. I should, but I don't. But if it came out, before Skyrim, then this is a lie. But if it came out after Skyrim, this is definitely a dig at Skyrim, because, God, you carry a lot of junk in that game. I guess in all the Elder Scrolls, it's just awful. Hello, Mr. Drake. Yeah, you thought I was gonna say dragon, but if you had watched my You Learn Something Every Day episode, you would know the difference between dragons and drakes, and why not to confuse them. Ooh. So we got some tougher guys here. And we also have a weak me. I'm pressing the Y button because I'm used to Bloodborne blood vials instead of Estus flasks on X. Anyways, yeah, starting as Hunter really puts you at a disadvantage just because of Short Sword, which is really, really weak early on. But no worries, because we have Undead Merchant, who we can talk to pretty soon. And get a better weapon from. And in terms of fighting, just thinking ahead, I might go for Hunter's Axe. It's pretty powerful. Or Reinforced Club. I think has the highest base damage, and pretty decent scaling. Anyways, let's light this bonfire. Bonfire acquired. Leveling up, at this point, I just got 1 point, putting it into strength. I really want to level strength until I get it up to at least 18 or so I can start wielding those cool weapons before I worry about my silly endurance. Or not silly endurance, my silly vitality. Endurance is critical. Ooh, stabbed in the belly. Ah, the parries. Parries are hard, man. If you're playing Dark Souls for the first time, I really would recommend just not doing parries, because they're not worth it. Unless you're trying to be a pro and you want to know how to beat Gwyn. I still can't parry Gwyn very well, I'll be honest. Anyways, here we got a slightly more challenging enemy, mainly because they really sort of, they're captain passives, you know? So just a hit, and sometimes they take it, sometimes they attack back. The goal, you know, just get them to attack, block, it breaks their poise or whatever, and boom, they're dead. You can also do the pro strat of parrying if you're good at the game, unlike me. And it's important to manage stamina when fighting these guys, because they'll do the chain attacks with their spear, and they can really easily kill you early on in the game. Especially when you're not wearing any poise armor, like me. Nope. Camera being pretty funky there. Anyways, we've got some souls. Also, we have these souls that we collected earlier. And remember, in Dark Souls, a lot of people get too good to use syndrome. If you don't use your lost souls of an undead right now, when 200 souls actually means something, you're just gonna have 200 souls late in the game and not be able to do, like, anything with them of value. So it's better to use things when they're important to be used. That being said, it is good to save stuff for appropriate times. But most of the time, you want to be using stuff right then and there.
Well now.
Hello.
Then you are a will. I trade.
Okay, so I do want to pick up Soapstone just so I can leave messages, something I enjoy. If you don't have Master Key, if you don't start with Master Key like I did, because you want to, like, talk to Quaylon, or Quaylog's sister, or whoever, or something like that, buy Residence Key. It lets you, save Griggs, and get some, what's it called, golden powder, the stuff you put on your sword to make it lightning-y, which is, that's the technical term for it, which is really good for beating, Mr. Taurus Demon. Bottomless box, not essential, but something that could be good to pick up if you really like managing your inventory. But here we get to the important stuff, and I'm gonna, oops, pick up a weapon here. And you know, I am really feeling the Reinforced Club. Oh, scaling is also important to consider. Wow, I didn't realize the scaling difference here. So, scaling, that's that I just pointed. I don't know why. I don't have a face cam on. The little letter scaling basically lets you know how much extra damage you're gonna do when you put points into a certain stat. So A scaling with strength basically means like that's the ideal scaling. I think the best is S scaling, but A scaling is the best unupgraded you can get, and it basically means you'll get a lot of extra points, plus 18 extra points for being above the required stat in that, or the required number in that stat. So Reinforced Club will higher base damage, 97 to 87, actually has lower scaling. You can see the pluses to 13 instead of 87. So for a short-term consideration right now, where I'm just trying to get a weapon to lead me onto the blacksmith entree, I'm just going to go for a Reinforced Club for damage. But a club, something with A scaling, might be a really good investment. That's all I'm really feeling. One important thing, though. This guy sells chain armor. Sure, the defense isn't great, but boom, you got 9 poise on that. Poise, pretty helpful, so if you can afford it, you should grab it for the early game, because that's going to let you take some hits and not get staggered as easily. So I'm just going to buy out this guy's pants and shirt. Thank you, good sir. And I'm gonna... I don't even think I have the endurance to wear all of it. And fast roll. Boom. I can wear this shirt, which kind of looks like a dress, so I guess it's cool. Anyways, I just realized I forgot the holopath. So yeah, let's get going with the Dark Souls experience, and we'll be going to Tourist Demon pretty soon.